We are live with Alyssa Chang. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Who's your friend back there?
This is Nala.
Is
She's
Nala going to be doing the Drive to Thrive program this year?
she is, and she will excel because she goes in with everything with so much commitment.
Oh, I love it. As long as there's a dog toy there, then.
Yes.
So good to talk to you today. Last time we spoke, we were talking about some of the problems that our program is set up to help people solve. And do you remember what those problems were, Alyssa?
Problems help people solve. Well, I think it was
Well, the two
consistent.
we talked about.
Oh, the two we talked about. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I recently talked about recovery,
Uh-huh.
and then we talked also about support,
Yeah.
support and community.
So it was like feeling alone on your journey, and then the problem with kind of starting some of these programs
Hmm.
and falling short, and that was a big issue.
Yeah.
And then so we got through that, and that was fun. But we have more to talk about today. And,
Apparently.
in part two, um, there's some more problems that we want to talk about, and one of those issues is like you're chugging along, you're working, you're crushing work, family's doing good, but the weight creeps up on us, and we look down after like going after it a couple months or maybe even a couple years, and it's like, what the heck happened? I stopped taking care of myself.
Hmm.
And that can be a very uncomfortable confrontation for us to look in the mirror and say like, hey, I let myself go, or I stopped doing the things that were important for me. So just kind of from your outlook or from your perspective, why is it so important for us to take care of ourselves maybe before we start taking care of other people?
Yeah, it's interesting. I just had a conversation with a client today about that. I think until we experience it for ourselves, will it really sink in about the how valuable it is to be at your best, whatever your best is for that day, whether or not, if you're feeling kind of under the weather, but your best is 70%, but you're still very present with that 70%. Um, because, I think the people in our life that we genuinely care about and love deserve our best for that day. And when we are able to kind of present ourselves in that way and be present and take the time to listen, support, etc., that we can formulate these connections and formulate this relationship and this bond. And that's what kind of life is about, is formulating connections with each other. And when we're our best, we can obviously love someone our best and support them our best, listen to them, and all of those things.
Yeah, totally. And we talk about in the program, making sure that we have our values at the forefront
Mm-hmm.
of our health, and certainly like, well, what are our goals, and do those goals align with what we value? And sometimes even the things that we value maybe slip away from us, right? If we're not practicing, actually practicing those values in front of us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So in the program, we're talking about, okay, how can we align some of those values that we have with some of our goals? And if those goals don't align with our values, maybe you can talk a little bit about how sometimes it doesn't work out so well for us.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I think when it doesn't work out, the best thing we can encourage people to look at when it doesn't align perfectly is like, okay, well, what did you learn? And what kind of adjustments can we make so that it does at least move you more towards it being more in line with what your values are. If your values are family, if it's being authentic, if it's, being honest and respectful, but yet you're, have a really negative self-talk about your body, about the way you eat, about how you don't get to the gym enough. It's like that constant clashing of what you're saying to yourself, but how you want to live is what leads many of us to feel very unfulfilled or unhappy. And so whenever something doesn't work out, you know, you and I talk a lot about like, well, what did we learn? How did you learn from failure? And how can that slowly transition you more towards what's going to work for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting how fast it seems like when it comes to our health, how fast we just, if the first thing didn't work for us, how easy it is for us to go, oh, I just throw the towel in, right?
Right.
And we don't do that with so many other areas of our lives, right? Like if you had a child and you didn't change their diaper the right way the first time, you wouldn't just be like, you know what, I'm not changing. It's not going to work.
Right.
No, you figure it out because you have to, and because you want to, and because you value having a healthy, strong baby. Like you're going to take care of that child. Right. But when it comes to us, if something doesn't work out, we kind of go, like you're saying, that negative self-talk. Oh, you know, I'm just not cut out for this, or blah, blah, blah. And we're saying, hey, no, you are cut out for it. It's just maybe the route that you're going about it might not be the best route for you. And maybe the goal that you have might not be the best goal for you right now.
Yeah.
I don't say that's a bad goal, but just looking at the situation right now and what we have access to and everything.
Yeah. And I think, you know, throughout the process, it's really getting a lot of us to understand that.
Hang on 1 second. I got something.
Yeah.
Get people driving past me.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Continue, please.
I was just saying, what was I saying? It's getting, to not being necessarily too strongly attached to our goals, right? Because our goals are one thing. What we develop about our personality or certain characteristics, what we learn about ourselves, those are all the things that make the goal, you know? So if we don't get to the goal, like, it's okay. You probably developed so many other things, strategies, tools, learn so much about yourself that, you know, regardless of the goal, you still were successful. And so if we learn to redefine what a goal really is, it's like, man, and, you know, embarking on any kind of fitness journey, a new nutrition plan, it's just going to be really fun. And that's what, you know, you and I definitely hope to kind of help educate people about, is like, this should be fun. Like, it doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to feel like you're a failure all the time, or you can't make mistakes. We want you to make mistakes because that's where you'll learn a lot.
Fail fast and fail often. So you learn. Well, and you bring up that point, is that having fun with it. And we know that, especially when it comes to health and fitness, whether you're losing weight, whether you're trying to get stronger, whether you're trying to develop a better mindset, that takes practice. And practice takes a little bit of time. You know, those goals take some time. We live in this instant gratification world. And if it's like, if all of our goals aren't met within the first, month, it's like, I'm done. You know, but as you know, with your journey, like, when you did your competition and came back from that, that was a couple year process for you. And when we're talking about going through this program, we want to make it as fun as possible, as you're doing it. And as long as you're on the journey, you might as well have fun doing it. Right. Play a little bit, learn a little something, make some friends, and get some support, Right. Cool. So I love that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So back to kind of the weight creeping up on us. I think from my perspective of it, it's kind of that initial stages of change, right? We go like, oh, we don't realize we have a problem or that something's going on. It's being able to realize and go, oh, wait, I need to make a change. And then it's like moving through kind of those stages of change of like, okay, how am I going to make this change? I think far too often folks just go like, well, from my view is that they want to make a change and then they rush and go make a change. That's great. I love the enthusiasm, but I think there needs to be a little bit better plan associated with it to move you towards your goals, because the plan that worked a couple of years ago might not be the best plan for you right now, especially if your life has changed. Right. Right. So they say that the preparation
phase of the stages of change is the one that's often overlooked, right?
Mhm.
So we recognize we want the change, we go and make the change, but we fail to recognize that, oh, I have to prepare for starting to work out in the morning by making sure I have a gym membership, making sure I have shoes, making sure I have workout clothes, and setting those things up and setting an alarm, so it's that preparation that we definitely want to emphasize so that people can go into a new change or new stage where they're more prepared of what to expect.
Mhm. And that's, and we can talk a little bit about how we do that in the program. We spend a good portion, actually it's the first month we spend preparing people with a good mindset and actually how they're going to attack them with a lot of different strategies to use, and kind of differentiating different strategies about how is this one going to work versus this one, and what's the best route for that person. So that preparation stage is huge in our program, because we want to make sure that people have a lot of access to what they need individually, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's a little bit about how we help folks kind of attack that process of like, oh, this weight just crept up. Like, what am I supposed to do? It's like, okay, let's learn from what has happened. Let's make a plan. Let's get some strategies together, and
Mm-hmm.
let's all attack it together. And if it doesn't work, or if you don't hit your habit exactly the way it's supposed to, that's okay. We can learn from that.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do well? And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like finding the bright spots in that self conversation that we have with ourselves is, okay, well, what did I do well?
Right.
Versus like, that didn't work. Well, what did work?
Right.
And what information can you take from that to learn from and move forward? So cool.
Cool.
All right, we're just gonna dip our toes into this one, but I'm
Okay.
curious. Someone comes to you, they avoid the gym because they have no idea what to do in it. It's confusing. There's a bunch of meatheads over in the weight room. The last time they did the treadmill, they fell off it. They're embarrassed. What's just one little piece of advice, just one little piece of advice that you would give to somebody as they're embarking on a new fitness program, but they don't feel confident going inside the gym?
Um, well, I think I would first say you're probably not the only one thinking that way. And then secondly, no one says you have to start with the gym membership. I think, like you had mentioned, the first group in Drive to Thrive, a lot of them did at home workouts. And so, I actually don't have a gym membership. Granted, I do work out at a gym, but a lot of times it's like, what can I have at home that would allow for me to still get movement in daily? I have my own body weight. I also have a kettlebell. We have some Indian club bells, but it's like, there's this idea, especially with this new year coming around, that it's like, okay, new gym memberships will waive your fees and you have a great rate. And it's like all you picture for New Year's resolutions is everyone signing up for a gym membership and people, getting those deals and going into the gym. But that doesn't have to be the only way. And like what you and I talk about, it's what we were talking about earlier is like we're finding methods and different pathways for you to get to your goal in a bunch of different ways. So a gym membership is one, working out at home is one, joining a group fitness, rollerblading, playing frisbee, playing softball, whatever it is. It's like above everything else, it's like, how can you find more opportunities to move your body? Because once you start moving your body, you're going to get addicted. It feels so good. Your energy is going to improve. You're just going to feel better, So yeah, that's what I would probably say.
Yeah, there was a bunch of information coming out. It was like, there's the talk that, oh, your metabolism slows down each year as you get older and everything. But the reason, like the number one reason that people were actually gaining weight from year to year is because their activity level decreased.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're trying to educate is that, hey, you don't need to go to the gym membership. Like, I would love it. If you love that, great. Go have
Yeah.
at it. But it's not a necessity to have, right? It's just your ability to again, we'll come back to critically think a little bit and say, hey, I just can move my body the way it was designed to. Maybe take a few more walks to start off with. Maybe take the stairs instead of the elevator. And some amazing things happen with that kind of compounding interest of like, oh, just a little bit of each day, just a little bit each day. And kind of like how the weight creeps up, you know, when you stop to just realize, you go, oh, whoa, how'd that happen? The same thing happens too with how you're feeling and how you're functioning. Is if you just add a little bit each day, and you kind of look back over the course of the last month, oh, I've moved a little bit more. Oh, my pants fit a little bit differently. Oh, my energy feels a little bit different. Oh, I'm sleeping better. Just from having a little bit different mindset towards their movement practice. Cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's enough information for one day to give some folks just to kind of check us out and what we're talking about on a regular basis. We would certainly love to have any of you interested in our upcoming Drive to Thrive program. It is actually starting January 1st, 2018. Enrollment opens December 1st. That's
Friday.
A couple of days here. So
yeah.
If you have any more information that you need or something, want to talk to us, reach out. We'd love to speak with you, and we'd love to have you in the program.
Cool.
You, Alyssa?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, that's it for today, and I'll catch up with you in a couple of days.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan.
Bye.